properly. Okay, that's one of the way. Others, what more do you understand by sustainable development?
Planting trees and plants like for future and present needs, vegetables, crops.
A long lasting peace between people.
People, okay. Okay, what are the other examples of sustainable development? Like what you can tell more? Anyone has anything more to say about what is sustainable development, or what do you understand by sustainable development? Why do you need sustainable development? Like you can think from different perspective and tell as well.
So we need sustainable development, like for so that people in the society live peacefully with each other without like compromising so much of their needs, and all of their needs are being fulfilled and all of them are happy.
Okay. Yes, because one of the thing we told is like development is itself happiness, right? It has to bring happiness as well. That's why you can see more or less like uh, within this years, like even the government has been telling about Samriddha Nepal, right? Sukhas Tatha Samriddha, right? Economically also prosperous, and they are happy as well. Okay, all of you, please turn on your camera. Feel is it because like I have opened too many tabs right now? I don't know, but I cannot see most of you right now.
Sir, today my also net is slow, so I don't know.
Janvi, I can see you, but others I'm not been able to see right now. Is it because like I have too many tabs opened, or what is it?
Sir, everyone's camera is on.
Is it on?
Yes, sir.
Just wait.
I can only see 13 people in mine, so
Sir, I can see everyone and everyone's camera is on.
Okay, that's what I told. One of the reason is because I will be opening many tabs so that I can just keep immediate recording at times. I don't see them at times. Okay, I started closing a few unnecessary, not unnecessary, few things which I really don't need it at the moment immediately. Okay, now, yes, exactly like what you guys told regarding sustainable development. It's the exact form itself, like how you define sustainable development. Okay, like there has been, so we'll start with some little uh, background also of sustainable development to some extent. Okay, did the screen come? Okay, it's coming. So sustainable development, in this like first, before understanding sustainable development, we have been trying to understand what is development, right? And whatever is that development, we already studied in lesson 1 as well about development, and every year you'll be understanding about development in first unit itself. Okay, based on your is and level. Okay, what is there, other things will come as a concept itself. So development is like it's a total of like accumulation of human capital and its investment so that economy gets progress. So that's a way of defining development, one of the way of defining development in the past as well, because in the past normally the development would be only economic development. That's what we have been telling, yes or no, earlier as well. They would see economic development only as one of the indicator of development, whereas we have to see other development as well, like social development, different forms of development. So this development should be improving the quality of life along with quantity. Okay, like in quality, you have the social indicators, right? Environmental indicators, they're all showing quality. Whereas in quantity, you can see the economic. How much is the GDP? How much is the GNP, right? How much is the per capita income? So all these things determine development. So this development, like the way of development pattern kept on changing with time, like we told, like the things like first they were focusing on more economic and cultural progress, right, in around 1920s and 1940s, right? More economic plus cultural, and there was exploitation of natural resources at that time explicitly, okay, without thinking about the future itself. And around in 1940s to 1960s, you just need to know, okay, this is just a summary, and in this also you can just know the summary. Is that clear? But just know how the things are changing. Within this also, if you just know the summary, it's enough. Like if you start going so much in detail of this also, then it's not for you. Just get the concept. So in 1940s to 1960s, so they started working out in economic progress, where it was like industrialization was being used for economic development. So that's only one of the way to progress in case of economic development. Like more industries means more you can export. China has a lot of industries, yes or no now? Which is which they're producing in bulk, and when they're producing in bulk, normally the production is also lower so that they can compete in the global market. And you can see how they have been, like within this 35 years or how much, you can see how their progress has been going. Like economic progress around 1950s to 1970s. So economic progress along with the different development areas, okay. And similarly, 1970s, they're focusing more on integrated area development. The 1980s, participatory development. Then from around 1990s, they started looking at around sustainable development. So that's what I'm trying to say. Is that clear? The concept started somewhat around in 1990s. Is that clear? So you just need to know sustainable development for this topic. So sustainable development started around in 1990, that is in around 1987. So here, sustainable development, it is the economic development. Okay, it is economic development, but in this case of economic development, there should not be any depletion of natural resources. Whatever are the natural resources, this should be all managed well. Natural resource management should be also very well, that they are not exploited, they are not finished, or they are not used up. Like we have the fossil fuels to different natural resources, right? So they should not be exploited. This should be utilized in such a way that they are available for the future generation as well. Okay. If you have anything, you can just ask there. Okay. Some things I told you, you don't have to go so much in detail for that. It's just for you to know the background, how things are changing with time. Okay. How the concept was changing and how it came and from when it started. Okay. More or less, you can see in social studies, it's all going to come updated. Okay. With most of the updated thing, that's what makes it challenging. Okay. That you have to be always updated. So for sustainable development to like itself happen, that for sustainable development, that most of the like world of nations, like they started coming together, okay, to work out on sustainable development, so that they could see the sustainability of the resources, so that the resources are sustainable for future as well. Sustainable means they are available for future also. Okay, so that's the other way, that's the other meaning. If you just say sustainable, it's trying to say that it's going to be happening in the future as well, it's going to continue in the future as well. We say sustainable livelihood means that program or project should be continuing in the future, not that year when the project went, it worked for a year and then from next year it got closed. That they were only waiting for the fund to come from INGOs, and after that they didn't continue because they didn't see any advantage, that they didn't understand the impact of it or anything. So like we have in case of sustainable development, Stockholm Convention, like that was a convention, that was one of the program itself, we can see that was held 30 years ago, where they try to see to respond to the problem of environmental deterioration. So more or less, they're trying to focus on environment as well. Okay, not just economic development. Only economic development is not going to help. Maybe for present generation, the economy is going to rise, but in the future, there will be no more such resources for them to utilize. If all the minerals are all used right now, all the fossil fuels, then in the future, they're not perpetual resource, right? They get finished. You have to study the different types of resource: renewable, non-renewable, perpetual, right? So they are non-renewable. This non-renewable, they either take many years of generations, a million of years. You can study about the fossil fuels, how they get from science itself also. Yes, sir, you know the background. Okay, exactly what is in the book, I already forgot of your science. Okay, although I studied, but I cannot say at what level exactly it is. But I feel you can understand that easily also. Okay, because the course also changes, and I cannot say which level, and I don't keep on looking at other subjects, right? Okay, so that like they cannot be renewed. So that's why like sustainable development had to be seen. So somewhat around in 1987 itself. So there are different programs. You have to know the history of sustainable development also before knowing about this. So Road to Rio, okay, you can see this is one of the publication. In this you can see here, this is one of the like publication. Here you can see Our Common Future over here. Okay, it's a report of Brundtland Commission, in which they're trying to talk about the future, okay, a common future for everyone, so that they see about the future sustainable. So that was done by the UN World Commission on Environment and Development. So that is UNEP. So in United Nations, you have UNEP itself working for environment programs, right? So UN World Commission on Environment and Development, UNWCED. Okay, UNWCED. Okay, that's the short form. That's how it has been. It will be written in other places as well. So from that publication, from that research, from that thing, there was a report made about the Brundtland report, trying to talk all about the need for sustainable development. Why do they need sustainable development? Why do they have to think about the future? Okay, so that there is sustainable development. Like you already told, it's trying to meet the needs of the present. Whatever we need at the present, we try to meet them also, and at the same time we think about the future of that. Okay, so that the future generations also can meet their needs also. Okay, that we don't only use it. So you must have seen some advertisement in the past. Okay, these days recently I don't watch so much advertisement to anything directly also. Okay, but where like in a vehicle, I don't know if it is right now, that I might be outdated to see the ads right now for your level. Okay, because I have not been seeing recently. Like the father keeps on like continuing with the cars, like he doesn't stop the cars, like even if it is in a traffic jam, right? And where the son talks about this, stopping the car so that the petrol or these things would not get used up so much. Okay, so have you seen this ad before, within 3, 4, or 5 years? Even if there, maybe it was difficult for you to understand, or what is it? Have you seen that ad? That was in Indian ad itself. Okay, so because like more or less this concept normally doesn't come from Nepal's advertisement easily, right? It takes time for Nepal, because the fund takes so much time to come to Nepal, and awareness campaign starts very slowly at times. Then even like in case of sustainable development, okay, you cannot think of so much future when people are not able to even think about the present, right? So you have to think, normal people start thinking about the future when their present needs are normally met. If not, what to eat in the evening, that is the main concern of the people. Listen, when it is below poverty line or anything. Okay, so next program is Earth Summit. So Earth Summit is also like officially known as United Nations Conference on Environment and Development. So this is a Road to Rio's part of that program itself. You can see that was held in 1992. So which was sustainable development concept started around 1990s, right? So it was held in 1992 at Rio de Janeiro, where 170 states participated in this program of Earth Summit. So this is another program for the history of sustainable development. And from that Earth Summit program, the result, okay, outcomes. Of course, before any program that they do, they are trying to focus on what would be the potential outcome. Before you do any project, people often have to see what are the outcomes, and then only they write down like maybe theory of change, what they need to change, right? What was the condition, and on what areas, on what outcome sectors to work so that these outcomes are met. So from this Earth Summit, the outcomes were that they had a convention on like itself relating to biodiversity as one of them, and next one was framework convention on climate change. So biodiversity. The biodiversity is trying to talk about the different diversity in case of biological plants and different aspects. Okay, so that's going to come more in environment. Along with environment, science will be supporting that also. So biodiversity. So these things were also mentioned in that, and framework convention on climate change. So this is one of the things that was happening, and that also made it very important for this sustainable development to be looked upon. You know what is climate change, right? We'll be having that climate change topic later on also in detail. Okay, for now I'll just tell very like in a light thing. Can anyone tell what is climate change? I just want to hear on you, although I'll not go in detail for this topic. Right now the topic is sustainable development, means 90% to 95% we'll talk only about sustainable development. So what is climate change? Just define, okay? Don't just tell it's the change in the climate only, but just give some more relevant example, direct to the point.
The change in weather or the climate of the earth due to the greenhouse effect
Okay,
is
yeah.
climate change.
Yeah, so that's the thing. Later on, we'll go a little more in detail what we need to know. Okay, so that's one of the major factors. It's because of greenhouse gases also. That's one of the major factors that causes change in the climate. And climate is the average weather. Okay, if it's just for 1 year, 2 years, that's not a climate. If it's for 35 years duration, then that is told to be a climate. Average 30, 35, 30. Now just that's what I told. Okay, sometimes I forget the facts. Okay, is that clear? But it is 30 or 35 in that 35 and 99% it's around 35. Is that clear? By next time I'll just see that, or you can just see it itself also. So that average time is only known to be as a climate. So if there's a change in that, then that is climate change, and if there's a change in that, then it causes various effects even in the livelihood of people. To different areas it causes effect. That's why it has to be addressed. All are under that topic, so you can see it has connection with each other. And one of the ways to understand, I told this concept, is to understand the connection as well. Okay, from that perspective you have to see how it is connected to different subjects. How can you connect with different areas? And next one was based on principles of forest management. Yes, we had some things about forestry itself, and it will come. It was in OBT little about the forestry related occupation. Okay, just to understand what is that, right? And we did talk to some extent this year also, last year also, I think. So forest management also comes under this. Okay, like how do they manage? And another is Agenda 21, which we'll see afterwards. Under Agenda 21, what also comes? Rio Declaration on Environment and Development. So these were the outcomes of Earth Summit that they had. Okay, so from that program that they agreed to work on the social and economic development, which are really important, basic to sustainable development. Okay, along with environment. So environment also has to be checked, social aspect also has to be checked, economic also has to be checked. So you cannot only see at economic development. That is what I have been telling from beginning itself. Yes or no for development. Okay, all in the past economy itself was already always considered as development. So to achieve these goals, like they had this Agenda 21 and Rio Declaration to have a global commitment, okay, from Agenda 21 and Rio Declaration, whatever they did, so that they could be having sustainable development. So in Agenda 21, you must have heard this: think globally, act locally. What does that mean? Somebody else, different people also, not always same people. Others also, please share. What do you understand by this? Think globally, act locally. Because it's not only me speaking full time. Okay, more you participate, the more it's a good sharing also, and you will not feel slowly like inactive. So we need active learning. Okay. So what is this thing? What do you understand by this quote? Think globally, act locally.
Maybe thinking about like considering about the health of the entire planet or the entire world, and starting from our own community, like
Yes, good. So you think from global perspective, right? You think moreover from global perspective, how it impacts the whole world, and so you can start acting from local itself, so that it creates a global impact as well. One of the objective of international education is itself to make global citizens, right? So that you think globally. Although our books of Nepal will be written from perspective of Nepal, okay? You cannot uh, try to connect with India's CBSE also directly, right? Or ICSE, whatever we have, okay? It will be written from the perspective of Nepal, although like perspective will of course come from the teacher globally, trying to relate, okay, wherever possible. Okay, and next one. So there was a monetary conference on finance for development. Next one, DUAP ministerial conference, which was defined for world comprehensive vision for future of humanity. And finally, like not finally, after that you can see World Summit on Sustainable Development that was held at Johannesburg, South Africa, from 2nd to 4th September 2002. So all the way we started from 1990s, that's all the way coming to 2002, the history of sustainable development, how they have been working for this topic. Okay, finally, the same definition was the main objective. Okay, after talking so much everything, then whatever was defined. So this is the definition of sustainable development. If you say in detail also, this will be the thing that's coming as a conclusion or analysis at the end. So development that needs, whatever we told at the first, development that meets the need of the present without compromising the ability of future generation to meet their own needs is known as sustainable development. So based on Brundtland Commission 1987, and we just told 1990s, but I already told you somewhat around 1987 itself. So this is the definition of sustainable development, that you are not going to exploit any of those natural resources for just meeting the present needs, that you have to see how much will it be available for future as well. So what is sustainable development? Now we'll go more into detail about on what sectors does it touch. Okay, not only just talking about meeting the needs of the present and that they are able to meet for future also, but you have to look at other perspective also. So it consists of all, or like harmonious integration means it's itself is combine of other things. Integration means combination. So harmonious integration of, like economic, in case of economy, it is a sound and viable economy. The government is responsible. There's a social cohesion. Okay, like there's a good connection in the society, right? Within this ecological integrity, so that it is going to be a development, is going to be life-sustaining process. Sustainable itself means to make it continue for future. If you say anything sustainable, it's to show that, make sure that they are continuing in the future. It's not just for 1 year or 2 years, but it has to more continue for several years. And right now, UN has its other sustainable development goals, 17 sustainable goals. I think I showed you earlier as well. Well, just not going so much in detail, but I just showed you generally, I think. Okay. Although we don't have to go so much in detail, but just to let you know, these are the areas where UN would be giving fund if they work on those 17 sustainable development goals. Whoever comes with good project relating to that, right? And they will be, of course, having time and again looking for such proposals. We will come with innovative ideas. Okay, sustainable development has economic development plus environment protection plus social reform plus people's empowerment. Then that is sustainable development. If you see a Venn diagram itself, I'll be keeping the link in your assignment that is linked from my direct from the other website. You'll see that Venn diagram consisting of three circles in which there is social development, environment development, and social development. I can show you right now also. It is open, but it takes time to go here and there. I'll open after some time. So that is sustainable development, where social development is also there, economic development also has to happen, and environment also protection needs to be done. Then that is sustainable development. So here you can see people, you can say people as social development. Is that clear? And this is development, you can just take it as like a more or less little economic and environment protection as well. So in this elements of sustainable development, you have to see political, economic, institutional, technological, socio-cultural, ecological, different areas. So not just one area, different areas come. So that all of them are part of that sustainable development. They are like you have to see from political dimension, you have to see from economic dimension, or whatever we say, perspective or aspect, institutional, technological, social, ecological. So that's what it is here: economical, ecological, technological. So these are all of you. Go to your book, page number 87. Now let's have some connection as well. Page number 87, objectives of sustainable development. Whatever is the objective of sustainable development written there, the same thing I've been telling right now. Is that clear? So economic means like it has to work to get economic growth, and so economic growth and social progress has to be there in case of economic. So that's one of the objective of parameters. Next one, in case of ecological, you can see to conserve the environment. Okay, that's the other objective. Page 87, first paragraph itself, you can see. Okay, that's the same thing we're telling, only the way of writing is different here. Is that clear? Or is it confusing? No, right? So I think you can easily understand because I've been giving several examples just to elaborate this same objectives. So in case of ecological, so environment protection is done, right? Environmental management is done so that there is proper policy and decision making. That's what we told. Policy and decision making, people should be always good so that it really protects. Okay, it's at the policy level. Protecting the environment and conserving the natural resources. In case of technological, promoting proper management of waste and residuals, adopting environment-friendly technologies, okay, so that the environment is conserved. We follow all those process of environment conservation. You know about the 3 R's. What are they? 3R. You know about reduce, reuse, and recycle, right? We have heard of that, right? So there sometimes the theme itself in environment day. Along with 3 R's, you have more R's also over there already, right? 6R concept. Okay, that was itself back in itself around 2012-13 itself. I could see that was already being taught itself in the syllabus, right? Not of school directly. Okay, like after that, repair. Okay, all these different R's are also used. So first is you have to try to reduce, then you have to try to reuse. So it goes more or less serially. Then recycle. If it still cannot be done, then recycle. So another is based on political. So empowering people, okay, so that people's participation is increased. That's another objective, parameter or objective, that people are empowered and the participation increases. So maintaining peace and order, like Janvi told. Okay, that's also going to come under this. So all things has to be considered in sustainable development. Everything has to be looked upon. And socio-cultural aspect, like promoting resource access and upholding property rights, promoting environmental awareness, okay, in which like environmental ethics, right? Environmental management action are all also kept in that. Institutional, in case of institutional, improving institutional capacity or capability to manage sustainable development, all these things are there. So the ones which I told in detail is more important for you. Is that clear? Because that's a simple thing which you need to know. So economic, ecological, political itself was enough to explain our objective of sustainable development that is in the book. Is that clear? Others, if you can understand also good. Okay, like in Agenda 21, it has different things in history. Like Agenda 21 consisted of limits to growth as one of the important thing in case of sustainable development. Okay, that was one of them trying to talk about the different aspects of economic and all this growth. And UN Conference on Human Settlements and Environment, World Commission on Environment and Development. In 1987, you can see Our Common Future. That's where we started from, right? When we talked, where they talked about the future of all those resources, everything. Philippines Strategy on Sustainable Development, 1992. UN Conference on Environment and Development, 1996. Philippine Agenda 21. So that's how it came. So these are the various aspects of sustainable development. So Philippine Agenda 21 talked about principle of unity, action agenda, implementation strategy. So in case of sustainable development, we need government, we need civil society and business. All three has to be involved there. Okay, not just one sector can help. In any work, you are trying to do environmental awareness campaign, you cannot do alone as a INGO or NGO. You have to always go and talk to the government to make the policy. Right now, you can see the policies of like below 40 micron, the plastic should not be used. Yes or no? Only if the INGO was trying to do from outside, it would be difficult. But it has to be convinced to the government as well, so that they keep in the policy and strict action is also taken. Okay, along with action, incentive to different forms to make that project impact successful. Okay, so government also has to play a role. Civil society also needs to be there. Like these people, it has to be always seen that in this area the outcomes are met. Okay, how many people to meet, civil society, how much impact to make, how many people in business, okay, which entrepreneurs to work with, okay, green business or anything, whatever you can, you have to see, okay, and then only it can be possible to have sustainable development. Okay, so what are the measures of sustainable development? How can we have sustainable development based on this? Can you tell now? So we talked about sustainable development so far. How can we have sustainable development? So you already got what is sustainable development. Now, can you think? So I told you this Venn diagram: environment, economy, and social community. And then you can see the one at the middle. If you study sets, right? What do we say? This is the intersection, right, of all three of them. Union, not union, intersection of all three of them. This is sustainable development in the exact middle. Okay, it's not between a intersection between economy and environment, not between economy and social community only, but all intersections. So you have studied three sets intersection and union.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So we are out of time.
Okay, so just we wanted to just finish this thing about how can we have sustainable development.
Sir, but then it's our lunch break now.
Okay,
I guess we should continue next class.
yeah. Okay, so the same, based on what we told, it's the same thing that is going to come in sustainable development: to plant trees, to have those better technological way of doing the sustainable development, to make sure all those 3 R's concept are also made, right? Reduce, reuse, recycle, so that you use renewable things, work on proper waste management, make sure that there is good population control is also done. Population part also comes under that, and organic farming. All these things should be also seen, so that there is sustainable development. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
What class
Thank you, sir.
was it? Our research class, first class?
Yes, sir.
Okay.